Welcome in, everyone. We do have a tornado warning in effect for parts of Kalamazoo and eastern Van Buren counties, pretty much now into northwestern Kalamazoo County. So I'm going to dive right into it as people join. I'll keep repeating myself, but we do have an active tornado warning now for northwestern Kalamazoo County. I have the velocity on right here so we can take a look at how the storm is moving, how it's rotating, and when you do see kind of these brighter colors next to each other with very sharp edges, that does tend to indicate that the storms do have a potential to rotate there. So it is looking like it's getting just north of Manitowoc, going off to the northeast. And again, this will be pretty close to western, actually, on the west side of Kalamazoo. So we'll keep a very close eye on this as it passes off to the north and the east. Again, this is a tornado warning that is in effect until a little after 7 o'clock, and we'll see how these storms progress throughout the rest of the evening. Now, we do still have the tornado threat for just about everyone, though, in southwestern Michigan at least. Now, in addition to that, we do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. Notice we have one a little bit further down to the south here, and they're all going to say tornado possible because there's a lot of rotation up in the atmosphere. So this one's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and that was issued for northeastern St. Joseph County in Indiana, and then we have Cass County in Michigan and northwestern St. Joseph County in Michigan also with that one. So a little confusing there, but basically if you're in a St. Joseph County, you got a warning out. But I am most concerned about this tornado warning. Now notice this is very, very close to the western campus, just north of it. So we're talking over by, let's see, G Avenue and 112th Street, going off to the northeast. So eventually that'll be towards D Avenue and Douglas Avenue. Off in northern Kalamazoo. So that's going to be just on the north side of Kalamazoo. Again, as of right now, this is a radar indicated tornado. I can flip it over into a different mode here to see if we can see debris floating around. That's one of the ways that we can go about confirming whether these are actually happening or not. Let's see here. Where is it? There we go. So this is a weird thing called correlation coefficient. And this basically, when we see a bright blue color show up on here, that would indicate an organized bright blue area. That would indicate the possibility that we're seeing a little bit of damage come out of this. Right now, it looks like we're just kind of mixing things. I don't see a hardcore signature one way or the other, so might just be a heavily rotating cloud, but that doesn't mean that it's not something to take seriously. One of those could drop a tornado any second. And if you saw the video of the Union City tornado a couple weeks ago, you know that that can happen very, very quickly. So once again, we do have a radar indicated tornado warning for northwestern Kalamazoo County. Should be nearing 131 and the business exit of 131 on the north side of Kalamazoo here, really momentarily, actually. So what we typically look for on here is kind of a hook echo thing. If you paid a lot of attention, you might see that. Might be seeing a little bit of an inflow notch right there, and that would mean that we're kind of like hooking around and rotating down here. So that could be what we're seeing there. It is a little hard to tell sometimes on radar. Now these storms are also moving very quickly, but notice we have other storms that could be showing hook formations here. So let's switch it back over to velocity just so we can get an updated check there. We can also look at storm relative velocity. Sometimes that helps clear things up a little bit as well. So this is indicating right here is where we have that potential, it's looking like. So let me get a different color for you. And again, this is on the west side of Kalamazoo. This is the area that I would be watching for most carefully. Let's see if we can zoom in and get some more names here for you. So again, this is going to be a couple minute old radar loop, so I am forecasting ahead here a little bit. Anyone Nicholas Road over by the Business 131 on the northwest side of Kalamazoo will have to definitely watch out for that to come on by. I'm not sure if Parchment is a township or an actual suburb, but if you're in that area, please seek shelter. This is moving off to the north and the east. So eventually we're talking about Cooper. And let's see what we got on the map here. That would be D Avenue by West Edge, 14th Street, 12th Street, F Avenue, E Avenue, D Avenue, and most likely C and B off to the north as well. So watching out for that there. This is going to be a very fluid situation, a day where things can happen very, very rapidly. So it is important to take these seriously. Now notice we got a couple other areas with red and green showing up there, and actually There we go. We got a brand new tornado warning that was just issued now in southwest Michigan. So we have 2 active tornado warnings now. This is for central Cass County. So central Cass County, you need to be in your safe place immediately. Let's put a pause on this. We'll switch over to a different radar station that's a little bit closer for you. There we go. So we can see the reds and the greens right next to each other there, right? That is indicating green going toward the radar, red going away from the radar. And you can tell that's how we see things kind of rotate around there. So this is a very, intense situation. So if you are in central Cass County in Michigan, Cassopolis, please take shelter now. Specifically, anywhere from the central to south and eastern parts of the city off into the northeastern part of Cass County. Definitely take shelter now. This storm means business. We're seeing good rotation on the radar. We can switch over to a couple other ways here. On the reflectivity, you can see what I was talking about with that hook echo and the other one. Probably a little inflow notch right there, which means we're rotating down here. So that's where the most high probability, if there is a tornado, that's where it would be. And these are moving very quickly. In fact, if we take a look at the storm motion, it's actually moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So we have to have good lead times with these storms because they're moving fast, and that means you're going to have less warning than normal if you're a little bit further up from that. So definitely make sure you're ready to go into your safe place as quick as you can if you're under a tornado warning. Pawpaw over toward Pine Grove, Manitowoc, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning, but this tornado warning, again, getting really close to Cassopolis, and that's very concerning. So we're going to watch that as it moves off to the northeast as well. Let's flip over to correlation coefficient again. I just want to see if we're seeing any debris show up on the radar, and I'm going to put this into motion just so I can see the patterns here, see if I notice anything sticking out. As of right now, I don't believe so. I don't believe so right now. I would be a little curious about some of these brighter colors if they're going to darken a little bit more, but right now I don't believe I'm seeing a debris signature on the radar. Back over toward Kalamazoo, though, I'm going to put this one into motion to see if I'm seeing anything there possibly. It doesn't look like it there either. It looks like we're just seeing, mostly static coming out of these. So again, 2 active tornado warnings right now for southwest Michigan, indicated by the red boxes here. One is for northwestern Kalamazoo County. The other is for central Cass County and extreme northwestern St. Joseph County, north of Three Rivers. Again, this is not including Three Rivers right now, but sometimes warning sirens are set off on a county level, which means even if you're not in the actual polygon, you will probably still hear an outdoor tornado siren, but it is for northwestern, the extreme northwestern corner of St. Joseph County and central Cass County right now. We also still have the active tornado warning up by Kalamazoo, and that one now moving off to the north and the east. Also, the severe thunderstorm warning does have that considerable damage threat. Even not with a tornado, we could have 70-mile-per-hour winds possible. Now, I do want to back it out here just a little bit so we can take a look at what's potentially coming in a little bit. I do think we'll get a small break on the backside of this before we have more moving in. Because notice all that severe weather back over toward the plains. We got to come in through our direction as well. But again, watching out for these tornado warnings that are in effect for Cass County and Kalamazoo County, northwestern Kalamazoo County, until a little after 7 o'clock. But these are going to develop rapidly. So if you are off to the north and east here, Hastings, I would keep a very close eye to the sky. And even further off to the north and east, anywhere from Ionia over toward Portland, probably Charlotte, Lansing, and St. John's. I would just make sure that you are getting a lot of weather information over the next hour or so. So let's take a look at this tornado warning now, because it is probably going right through the south part of Cassopolis. We got what it looks to be a pretty defined hook echo showing up here. And again, that's indicated by an inflow notch right here and rotating out from the storm over here. So the most likely spot for the tornado would be kind of in this vicinity on the south side of Cassopolis. Now that's moving off to the north and east. So Eagle Point, Spring Beach, Vandalia, Penn, Crane Pond State Game Area. Make sure that you are in your safe place. This is going to be headed up your direction. I can call out some roads here for you as well. Let's see, Brownsville Road anywhere southeast of Cassopolis, Hospital Street, off to the northeast. Again, I think these are neighborhoods that we're looking at: Eagle Point, Diamond Shores, Spring Beach. Definitely make sure you are in your safe place. Now we just got the updated radar information. Now remember, this is already going to be a little bit behind. It's just a snapshot. So as we have this storm with the potential tornado moving off to the north and the east, the next frame could put it, you know, maybe as far as up here. So definitely make sure that you are not waiting until the last second to get into your safe place. Now that eventually will go up to Marcellus. So Marcellus needs to be in their safe place as well, and Flowerfield be in your safe place as well now also. The tornado warning is still in effect directly north of Kalamazoo also. That storm's still moving off to the north and the east. The storm motion is fast again. It's about 50 miles per hour. So think about driving 50 miles per hour and how that takes, you know, 10 or 15 minutes in between a couple of our smaller rural cities. That's going to be how fast the tornado moves as well. So you might only have minutes to get into your safe place. Again, I'm going to focus a little more down to the south here. This is a more defined signature. I think the one up by Kalamazoo might be starting to fall apart a little bit. Let's go back over to velocity. And that is something you don't like to see at all, but that is most likely a very defined area of rotation with the green and the red. With that green and the red there. So again, we're closer to the site in Indiana. So that's the site that I'm using for this one here. But anyway, now we can move that green. That means that it's seeing objects come toward the radar. And red and pink means we are seeing objects going away from the radar. And that's all it takes. Think about putting a pencil in between your hands. If they're both going opposite directions, that pencil's spinning, right? Just like the tornado. So basically when we see two different ways the wind is blowing right next to each other, that's how we know that there's most likely rotation there and to issue a tornado warning. Off to the north, I'll switch it over to the Grand Rapids site because that is closer to this cell. And we're still seeing the possibility for rotation there as well, especially with one little red pixel showing up. And again, it doesn't take much to cause some damage. It's just, you know, one little neighborhood can get a hit from a tornado and that's all. So even the small ones we definitely have to take seriously. But that, again, moving off to the north and the east. So now most likely crossing the D Avenue toward the Riverview Drive area. And eventually off toward BC and D Avenue and this road, which is 24th Street. Toward Richland Junction, which is northwest of Richland. So still watching that area closely as well. But down toward Cassopolis, that is definitely going to be the one that's grabbing my attention the most here. Because again, look at those colors. That is pretty defined on the radar there. You can put it into motion and you might even be able to see how that's forming as well. See how it's kind of moving along there and you can almost tell that it's rotating a little bit. So even if the tornado is not officially on the ground, it could drop one momentarily. So again, if you're just joining me now, think about the tornado that we had in Union City just a little while ago. That one was on a low severe chance day also. And I'm just going to check to make sure that everything's working here for me on my page also. So yeah, we got the live going. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we got the new update now. This is moving right by Vandalia, M60 and White Temple Road. M60, White Temple Road, moving off toward Crane Pond State Game Area. And that also means eventually, that we're going to head toward Savage Road. And Dutch Settlement Street. So again, if you are in this tornado warning, please make sure that you are in your safe place. I'll be walking you through it, so feel free to take your phone in there with you, a laptop, whatever you're watching on, or crank the TV all the way up if you're watching me on YouTube. The one off to the north, again, I think falling apart, that will most likely be allowed to expire. Let's just make sure that I got nothing else going on because this is such a large area to keep an eye on. So right now it's just the southwestern 4 counties, excluding Berrien, that we're watching out for. So there's the new updated radar scan coming in right now. Again, still have a tornado warning for central Cass County and southwestern Michigan. This is not including the Three Rivers area, but look at Three Rivers right there. Yep, Three Rivers right there. And we have a tornado warning mere miles back over to our west again. But Three Rivers, this one is not for you. Not for you. Stay vigilant, but this one is not for you. Again, off to the north, we still have that one for Kalamazoo County as well. Looks like that's going to probably expire early. It says in 25 minutes, but I think that'll be allowed to expire early. The other one expires at the same time, about 7:15. And if you safely have pictures or video, please feel free to send them my way. Feel free to send them into my Facebook inbox. That would be the best way for me to look at it. I do get flooded with messages sometimes, but I will definitely be looking in there from time to time today. So still watching the tornado warnings for north central Kalamazoo County, central Cass County, and the extreme northwestern corner part of St. Joseph County. So there's the new update. Again, I think this tornado warning will be allowed to expire here momentarily off across Kalamazoo County. Down to the south, though, getting some pretty close by lightning strikes there, but overall storm structure might be weakening a little bit. Let's switch back over to velocity and see what's going on. Okay, so still seeing a really defined area of potential rotation here. Again, this is right over the Vandalia area, now off to the north by Crane Pond State Game Area, Quaker Street and White Temple Road. Also looking out for Savage Road and Hoffman Street. That is, again, northeast of Vandalia in central Cass County. Eventually, that's going to head up toward the city of Marcellus and off to the northeast from there. We're seeing pretty good returns showing up on here now, so I'm really hoping that this isn't strengthening more. Some of these colors are very bright. Let's switch back over to correlation coefficient to see if I can see debris showing up here. I really hope that's not what I'm seeing. Before we call it, let's take a look though. That might be debris. Yeah, this might be debris being lofted into the atmosphere, showing up as this blue color here, which would be right over Vandalia. So again, I can't stress this enough. Take this seriously, please. Still calling it radar indicated. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes could be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, vehicles will likely occur. Tree damage is also likely. Marcellus, they're calling it for 6:55 p.m., which is in a couple of minutes. So you should be in your safe place now, please. And again, this is right over the Crane Pond State Game Area now, towards Savage Road. So if you are anywhere, especially on the southern or eastern side of this warning, so we'll go with Dutch Settlement and Hoffman Roads and M40. Need to be in your safe place immediately if you are in those areas. So M40, Dutch Settlement, I think it's coming right for you. If you're by that intersection, please be in your safe place. Double checking Kalamazoo County, that was allowed to expire as anticipated. We now have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southeastern Allegan County and Berry County. Extreme southeastern Allegan County, so mostly just Berry County for 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's what we call a pretty typical severe thunderstorm warning. So again, I'm going to look at this because I do think this might be a debris signature showing up in the one that just passed south of Cassopolis and right over Vandalia. I'm going to switch it back over toward velocity now just so we can see exactly what's going on. And yeah, see how those colors are very, very bright right over Crane Pond State Game Area. So this is most likely going to be a tornado on the ground, most likely going to be called observed here any moment. This indicates toward the radar in the green, pink, red, and that bright orange colors away from the radar. So we have very violent winds going in complete opposite directions in close proximity, indicating something is rotating. We just got a new radar scan, so again, I can't stress this enough. M40 and Dutch Settlement, please be in your safe place if you are within a mile of that intersection. If you're anywhere near M40 in Cass County, the northeastern part of Cass County, if you're near M40, safe place immediately. Now I'm growing a little more concerned about the northwestern corner of St. Joseph County as well. Not Three Rivers, the northwestern part of the county. I have the satellite on here. We can definitely see that there's a lot of fields, but also we got homes along these roads. So please take shelter immediately if you are in northeastern Cass County or northwestern St. Joseph County. This is a tornado that is most likely on the ground as observed right now, still being marked as radar indicated. Let's just check for some updates in the wording here. Tornado warning remains in effect until 7:15. Again, Marcellus being your safe place now. This is going to be awfully close to you. Oop, we just got an update there. Radar indicated still. Okay. Tornado, let's see, 6:55, capable of producing tornado, flying debris. Okay. All right, I do want to switch it back over to where I can track the damage for you yet again, really quick. By the way, I have multiple screens going on, so if I'm looking around, it's because I got things going on here just so I can keep my eye on as many things as possible. So let's put this into motion again. Again, I do think we are seeing a little bit of a debris signature. Hopefully this is just like a quick touchdown and go up kind of thing, but either way, anyone along M40 from Marcellus southward or M216 between Marcellus and Howardsville, take shelter immediately. This storm means business. I'm pretty sure we are seeing a little bit of debris show up on the radar here. We'll turn it back over to just the regular radar mode that most of you know, showing rain and things falling out of the sky. So here is the little inflow notch that I believe we're seeing by that little nook kind of cut out there, which also means that the storm is swirling around going that way. So we can kind of see the swirl even in the rain bands coming down. But one more time, this is an active tornado warning in southwest Michigan, and this is going to be in effect until 7:15. I absolutely would start planning ahead in Kalamazoo County again if this storm doesn't lose rotation. This could be heading into areas like Portage, Kalamazoo, and Texas Township. And I know Portage had that tornado a couple years ago, so we're all too familiar with this. You are more than welcome to take me on your phone into your basement if you just want to sit down there and relax for a minute. If you are in the Kalamazoo County area, Schoolcraft especially, I will be watching the storm through and through. All right, so other than that, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings pretty much along this whole line. That would be from Hastings down through the northwest side of Kalamazoo, Paw Paw, and of course down into Cass County, Cassopolis, and eventually into South Bend as well. But these are moving northeast. They're moving quickly, about 50 miles per hour. And I do apologize if I'm moving it around too much on you. I'm just trying to make sure I'm seeing everything that's going on. If you've been following me for a while, you know I like to post a lot, and I just want to make sure I'm covering everything. So here's how this looks still. That active tornado warning right near Marcellus, so Flower Field, and even Schoolcraft. Let's watch this very carefully. But once again, Kalamazoo and Portage, there's no harm, no foul in telling you to pay attention because we got an active tornado warning to your southwest pointed your direction if it gets extended. Let's go back over to velocity. That's a better way to pinpoint exactly what is going on. And there is that very obvious tornado signature showing up there. Rotating cloud, absolutely. Colors nice and tight, so this isn't just a broad rotation. It is nice and tight, indicating that possibility for that tornado. Now that, remember, sometimes these radar images are just a couple minutes old. We get a scan about every 5 minutes. So as it's showing it right over M40 right now, I'm going to go ahead and call out off to the northeast. So Marcellus, you should absolutely be in your safe place. Anyone in the warning should be in their safe place. Howardsville as well. But State Highway 216 between Marcellus, oh, it's also called Marcellus Highway, it looks like. The city of Marcellus itself, again, this is most likely gaining a little more strength yet again. So State Highway 216 between Howardsville and Marcellus, and eventually up toward Chamberlain Road. Chamberlain also in that tornado warning. And I think some of these are small cities or townships, but I'm just going to call them out anyway. Something's named that around there. Locals will know what's happening for sure. So again, there's the very obvious tornado signature, and you might be asking once again, you know, how wide do you exactly know? The radar site I chose is to the south, and green means toward the radar. So that's going toward the radar site I'm using, which is south of here. Red is away from the radar. So when you have two things that close together, put it like a pen or a pencil between your hands, right? Or a straw, whatever you got. And it's rotating when you move your hands like that. That is how we know there's a tornado there. Or at least a very high probability of a tornado there. I do want to switch it over to see if I can see any debris on the correlation coefficient again. And this is a really useful tool. The really fast way of saying this is all these colors over here means that what it's seeing is uniform. It means, oh, that's all rain. That's all rain. When you start getting into these colors, it's like, okay, there's rain, there's a leaf, there's a stick, there's a 2x4, there's a tire. I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to make a bright color. It means that there's different size objects going on in the sky, and that is how we can tell that it might be debris coming on through. So it's a really, really cool and useful tool. I just want to put it into motion again to make sure, you know, what we're seeing here. I still think we had a very weak signature there. It's not looking as strong as it was, which is good, but if you can kind of see how we got a little blue pulse right there, and then it kind of fizzled out as it went off to the north and the east. Might have had a brief actual touchdown here, but it still means that a tornado could reform at any second. So please make sure that you are in your safe place if you are in this tornado warning. Quick update from, let's see what the National Weather Service is saying. Maybe, perhaps. Oh, not yet. Okay. There we go. No updates have confirmed anything. So I like to check that every now and then because sometimes they do update the actual warning with that information. So that's always a good thing to have. But again, still a pretty good signature showing up that's moving off to the north and the east. Notice how those colors are fading a little bit. They're not as bright next to each other as they were. That likely is indicating, hopefully, a little bit of a weakening storm. We do now have a brand new tornado warning that is in effect for Kalamazoo County. Kalamazoo County, this is a tornado warning in effect until 7:45. This storm is moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Please take this seriously. Portage and Schoolcraft around 7:10 p.m. Kalamazoo around 7:15 p.m. Westwood around 7:20 p.m. Parchment and Comstock Northwest around 7:25 p.m. Galesburg, Richland, and Gull Lake around 7:30 p.m. Now I do have people depending on me in that area, so I'm going to send them a message really quick. All right. So again, this is a brand new tornado warning now for Kalamazoo County, extreme southeastern Van Buren County. Let's go ahead and we're just going to do a little update here. We're going to flip over to the other radar site, which I believe is maybe just a little bit closer by. All right. And that's not showing me a whole lot, so let's go back over to velocity here. So we got a very obvious signature right there, right, for that potential tornado that is now entering extreme northwestern St. Joseph County. That will eventually move up into the Kalamazoo area as well. But we have another potential little rotational area kind of getting up to the northeast now. That would be getting towards the Texas Corners area. And where I-94 and 131 meet. So again, these are to be taken seriously. I'm pretty sure we saw a brief touchdown with a little bit of a debris ball just to the south in Cass County. Make sure you are in your safe place. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit. Maybe storm relative. There we go. So we do have the most likely some broad rotation here southwest of Kalamazoo proper, and then of course the one now that is moving out into St. Joseph County, kind of at like a four corners area here of counties. Southeastern Van Buren, Kalamazoo, St. Joseph, and Cass counties. So again, be in your safe place. That is the best place to be now. Might be having another area of rotation down to the south, at least pretty high up in the clouds. Let's see if that's picking this up. They might warn that soon. I just want to be ahead of it. So either way, if you are in southeastern Cass County or now in the Three Rivers area, please take this seriously and just keep a close eye out. If a warning does get issued and your phone goes off, definitely head to your safe place immediately. So we're going to put this into motion here so I can get a better idea of what's going on. And this is the most obvious potential tornado signature right here. Moving off to the north and the east, that would be headed right toward Portage, with some broad rotation now making its way towards the Texas Township area and eventually right over Kalamazoo. So still watching this storm with this potential long-living tornado threat moving off to the north and the east. Again, still being called radar indicated. Let's see, EAS activation has been activated. Moving off at 55 miles per hour. So again, that's really fast. That's about the speed you drive down back roads, or should be driving down back roads at that speed. And that's pretty quick. So remember, it only takes a few minutes to go a few miles. That's a very fast moving storm. You don't want to be caught off guard. It's better to, again, be underground and wait a little while, wait it out, than to not be able to get down there when you need to. So again, all this moving off to the northeast very, very rapidly at 55 miles per hour. Cass County, for that tornado warning, it's looking like you are in the clear, but we are seeing more rotation down to the south, north of Elkhart, so please take that seriously. Again, this is moving off to the northeast, so Flower Field, Schoolcraft, absolutely be in your safe place. Portage as well. Texas Township, Western Michigan University, Kalamazoo, and Galesburg. Again, the actual straight line that I'm seeing on here with this will likely take it right towards Schoolcraft and Portage. So Schoolcraft and Portage, definitely be down in your safe places. Let's put this on pause again really quick. We'll get another update here soon. I'm going to switch over to the other radar because we're kind of like equal distant here between two radar sites. So we'll go back up to the Grand Rapids one now. There we go. All right. So two different ways of basically looking at the same thing here. We got those reds and greens right next to each other. A little bit of broad rotation, most likely showing up just southwest of Kalamazoo now. Now that warning again is still in effect until 7:45 p.m. Still radar indicated rotation. We can throw some storm reports on here and see if we're seeing anything. Data overlays. Local storm reports. They're already on, it looks like. Which means we're not getting any just yet. I'm going to check what's going on elsewhere just really quick. So just still kind of confined to these couple of counties right now. And we should get a radar update here momentarily. So let's see. Let's see if we can just clean it up a little bit more. Okay, so either way, no matter which color scheme I use, you see that those are really close together, indicating that potential rotation. Again, that is headed up toward Kalamazoo County now. Current center of rotation is the northwest corner of St. Joseph County, moving up into Kalamazoo County. I'm going to keep flipping around modes here because, again, I like to be very well versed in what's going on. So here we are still seeing a little bit of what I call that inflow notch, that little area of green that kind of goes up into the rest of the storm there, indicating the air is going in. And then that means that this air is most likely swinging around. So that's what we call kind of a hook echo signature. Not the best one I've ever seen by any means, but definitely the pattern I'm seeing right now. Again, that is moving quick. So Schoolcraft, Flower Field, Portage, Kalamazoo, Texas Corners, Western Michigan University, absolutely be in your safe place. This is headed your way. Great lead time from the National Weather Service, by the way. I think everyone should have been able to get into safety by now. That's why it's important to practice also. If it did take you longer than this, I do highly recommend practicing. So again, still focusing on the Kalamazoo area here for an active tornado warning. Still going with radar indicated, though I did see what could have been a little bit of a debris signature east of Cassopolis a little while ago. So I do think this has a high potential of actually dropping a tornado briefly again until we start to see that rotation fall apart a little bit more. I'm going to switch it back over to velocity one more time here. All right. So we are seeing those colors pretty strong right next to each other still. And that is moving off to the north and the east. So that tornado, again, moving off to the north and the east, literally uncomfortably close to Schoolcraft. So I can't stress this enough. Schoolcraft, Flower Field, it is time. It's been time to get in your safe place. So please stay there for a little while longer. Cass County, for now, unless we see something form with that storm to the south, for now the tornado threat has moved on to Kalamazoo County. We're going to watch that very carefully as it lifts up into Schoolcraft and Portage. It's going to be really close to 131, probably going just east of 131 by the time you get toward Harding Street and Q Avenue. It's going to be more toward the city of Portage, most likely. But Texas Corners, Kalamazoo, Western being your safe place. Again, Schoolcraft, it's coming very close to that area. Very close to that area. So now that we might be in a location with a little more, like trees and stuff, maybe a couple of buildings, I just want to make sure I'm not seeing debris show up again. Let me put this in motion. Always got to look for some patterns here. So there might be a little something just to the west of Flower Field right here. So again, Schoolcraft, it's very important that you are in your safe place now. Vicksburg, Portage, off to the north into Kalamazoo. We might be seeing a little bit of a debris signature showing up there. And if you're not seeing what I'm seeing, I'm watching this particular area that looked like it had a little organization to it. Now it's over there getting a little darker, right over Flower Field. And that's why I wanted to look at it over Flower Field, because if we got buildings there and shingles and stuff, that stuff being lofted up in the air, that could be a brief signature there as well. So again, Schoolcraft, absolutely take this seriously. Portage as well. That is moving off to the north and the east. Let's switch back over to velocity here since we got an update. And again, that is absolutely the location. That is going right for Schoolcraft. Flower Field, I'm hoping for the best for you. I don't like seeing debris on the radar after it passes a city. We'll see what happens after Schoolcraft, and I'm hoping we're not going to see much. Notice there's a little bit of rotation up to the north. Yeah, looking like a little bit of rotation there as well. Let's put this into a loop so we can see patterns. Yeah, we might be seeing another area of rotation literally right around I-94 and 131. That's going to head literally right toward downtown Kalamazoo now. So everyone along 131 and Kalamazoo, be in your safe places. Got some lightning and thunder showing up with those plus signs on there, but yeah, I'm concerned now about what's going on up here. And why I'm concerned is because of this area that looks like we're seeing velocity go the wrong direction. We like to see uniform things, not things like this down here. So what's going on here is we have the Grand Rapids radar site, I believe. Yep. And I just want to switch it over. I like these colors better. All right. Yeah, I think any Western Michigan University, 131, I-94, downtown Kalamazoo. Watch out. We got the potential for another one forming up there as well. Potential. But that is not going the direction I wanted to go. We're showing greens next to reds up there now also. And still majorly for Schoolcraft. So you might be seeing clouds doing a lot of weird things. There's a lot of spin in the atmosphere, and that's why I was harping on this so much earlier today. There is a lot of rotation in the atmosphere for these things to work with. So again, we're looking for those. Let's switch it back over to the debris mode here. I think we're seeing a debris signature show up over 131 and I-94. We very well could be, at least. it's a little tough to say. It's kind of right in this interference zone, but I do think it's possible that we're seeing a second debris signature showing up, in addition to this one lifting right along 131 by Schoolcraft. Again, everyone should be in their safe places now, especially anywhere around Kalamazoo, Portage, Schoolcraft. I think we might be seeing a weak debris signature here, and I think we might be seeing a weak debris signature right by Schoolcraft as well. Oh, we just got an update. We are most likely seeing a debris signature up there now. Goodness. I hope it's not, but we'll... All right, so let's see. It looks like both of these signatures have now crossed 131, moving over to the east of 131. I want to go back to velocity again. Yeah, we're seeing that tighten up there as well. Let's go to the other mode that cleans it up a little bit. So Western Michigan University in downtown Kalamazoo, safe places, Portage, Schoolcraft, Vicksburg, Galesburg. This is headed your way also. This is going to go right by the Air Zoo, downtown Kalamazoo. What else is over here? That would be the Kalamazoo Airport as well. All right, so again, this is what we're watching. I think we're seeing 2 rotation signatures now. Still going with radar indicated. Tornado warning remains in effect until 7:45. All right, we're also having torrential rainfall too with this, also noted. Okay, and off to the north. You know, we're not seeing anything crazy showing up around Hastings yet. But Kalamazoo, all of Kalamazoo County, especially east of 131, still needs to be in your safe places. Not sure if there's any cameras I can access in that area. Storm chaser. You know, let's see if there are storm chasers. I don't think so. Oops. Can I move this? There we go. All right, let's get rid of that. All right, so we're seeing the area show up right over pretty much downtown Kalamazoo and a little to the east now of Schoolcraft towards Vicksburg. Again, this is an active tornado warning, still in effect until 7:45. 7:45. We also have the severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-sized hail from Hastings and Berry County also. So again, might be seeing 2 areas here. This one's getting a little more broad. I like that. I like when we don't see the brights right next to each other, because when you have more of a dulled out red and green, that means that kind of the whole cloud base is rotating as opposed to a sharp point, which would be the tornado. So when they're more dull and spread out, it's the whole cloud rotating. It's what we call a mesocyclone, or, you know, wall cloud, you can call it. And when it's, of course, those colors are brighter right next to each other, it's that straw thing in between your hands rotating around. Think of it as like a lazy Susan versus a straw. Big rotation versus tiny, small rotation, relatively. So Schoolcraft to Vicksburg, Portage, and pretty much all of Kalamazoo proper. Morrow Lake, Galesburg, in this active tornado warning with a very real threat headed your direction. Switch it over to, let's see if we can see any defined, oh, you know, we might be losing a little bit of the notch signature, except off to the north here. This might be indicating a notch with that rotation. This might actually be falling apart here a little bit. That would be great. We'll see what happens in the next couple of scans. But either way, I mean, this is torrential rain over Kalamazoo and Portage right now. That's a lot of rain coming down. All right, I want to take a peek at the correlation coefficient again. Remember, this kind of tells me if there's different size objects flying around. And see how you can tell what's interference, right? And what kind of has a pattern to it. So I do think that we had at least a little bit of debris signature because they're moving in the same direction at the same time. So I do think a couple brief weak touchdowns were possible here, which would be, believe it or not, kind of a best case scenario. But I'm still seeing what I don't like to see over downtown Kalamazoo with a rotation signature there. So let's take a look. Oh, there's another update. So see how we kind of have those two more organized areas I was telling you about? Unfortunately, this one now between Schoolcraft and Vicksburg, especially being spread out like that, and we are pretty far away from the radar, things could be getting lofted pretty high up into the cloud there and kind of spreading out. Let's see if they're still going with radar indicated. Thing, yeah, we might still be seeing a little bit of a notch there actually, but hopefully not too crazy, or the whole cloud starting to rotate now instead. We'll go back to velocity because this is, yeah, see, so we're still seeing that kind of pinpointed there a little bit. I think we're just the exact distance in between two radars here too. So again, I'm watching these brighter areas, which would now be just east of downtown Kalamazoo, and in between Schoolcraft and Vicksburg, moving off to the northeast. That would include much of Portage, especially east of, what is this road? Westnedge. Portage, east of Westnedge. We're going to watch for this thing to lift off to the north and the east. Borgus Medical Center. I think that would be really close to some of that rotation as well. And Comstock. And then we have Cork Street, where it gets right by I-94, and the I-94 Business Loop or AmVets Memorial Highway. Also watching out for potential tornado damage and more damage that could be caused by tornadoes there. Again, this is all moving very quick, so it's moving off to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. All right. So still seeing, pretty tight signature there. And, sometimes what happens with these also is it, does a little drop there. Tornado comes down, goes back up. It moves a couple miles, another tornado comes down, goes back up. Moves a couple miles, comes back down. So they kind of cycle through that life cycle a few times. And that could be what we're seeing here. Because sometimes it does look like we're falling apart, and then the next scan comes in and we're tightened back up again. Let's make sure this isn't anything off to the north. I think that's just radar interference, but we'll take a look at the pattern here just to be safe. Yeah, probably just radar interference. These areas, though, definitely seeing some rotation. And see how this is maybe tightening up now as well? Right over I-94 and AmVets Memorial Highway, Cork Street, East ML Avenue, Galesburg, East Michigan Avenue out of Comstock by Morrow Lake, too. Okay, so anyone west of 131, you are now okay. It is east of 131 in Kalamazoo County that we're watching out for, and along 94. All of I-94 between 131 and Battle Creek has the possibility to experience some pretty intense weather. Now see, we just got another update, and looks like it's tightening back up again with those brighter colors right over each other. I don't like to see that because now we're getting into these smaller roads that I can see on here. Neighborhoods. Indian Run Golf Club. I'm seeing that show up. Long Lake. Austin Lake. Pavilion Center. Collins Corner. Please make sure you are still in your safe place. We're not in the clear yet. Schoolcraft, you are in the clear. Schoolcraft is in the clear. Texas Corners in the clear. Still going through Portage east of Westnedge, though. Western Michigan University, you are now in the clear as well. I'm going to check on our friends down in Three Rivers just to make sure that we don't have anything brewing there. Doesn't look too concerning right now. But I'm going to watch that really closely as well for you, Three Rivers. But it should pass just to the northwest of the city anyhow. Because this is a very defined signature showing up yet again. I'm going to wait for one more scan, and then we'll flip back over to that other mode I was telling you about, the debris mode. All right. And if you can send me pictures or videos safely. Don't go outside right now, please. Safely after the storm passes, I will take them and check it out. It's also good to confirm what's actually happening as well. This tornado warning is still in effect for the next 18 minutes. I do think it'll be extended, though, and might also kind of clip Calhoun County, too. We'll see. Alrighty. So looks like we just got another update coming through there. Still looking at that rotation, especially where AMVETS Memorial Highway meets I-94 headed toward Galesburg, and then just northeast of Vicksburg now. Just getting toward Pavilion, it looks like, in the east side of Portage. It's where we are currently seeing the best rotation for these potential tornadoes. And I do think we had some brief touchdowns. Right. Just doing a couple of quick updates here. Again, I got people in that area that I'm telling are in the all clear now. So doing that really quick also. Thank you for bearing with me. Still looking at those two bright red areas, especially the one in between Portage, Pavilion, and Vicksburg that has the bright red next to the green, indicating that rotation from that storm coming through. All right. And again, these are still moving off to the north and the east, so if I was anyone on the northwest side of Battle Creek, I would really start paying attention carefully now. Not saying anything is going to happen, but if this keeps going that way, something might. All right. Let's put it on a mode where we can see what's going on again. So there's that rotation still there. I think we had some brief rotation show up on the east side of Kalamazoo also. Not as defined as the one down to the south. Let me just put this into motion so we can kind of see what's going on here. Not seeing any, substantial, jaw-dropping, obvious debris signatures, so that is good. I do think, again, we just had some weak, brief touchdowns. I think they were weak, brief touchdowns if they occurred. But I'm leaning towards the side that they did. Still being called radar indicated till 7:45. All right. So again, Galesburg, you are the next one that is going to come awfully close to this, so you should be in your safe place already, but stay there, please. It is headed your way, so that would be lifting off to the northeast. So Pavilion Center, Collins Corner, you're in it now. N Avenue and 34th Street. N and M, like Nancy and Mother, and 34th Street. And, of course, I-94, Galesburg. Definitely be on the lookout for this to head your way. Cooks Mill. I'm not sure if that's just a township or like a neighborhood or golf course or something. So now you can see the rotation pretty much right over Pavilion Center and Collins Corner. Moving off toward the Cook's Mill and 34th Street with M and N. M as in Mother and N as in Nancy Avenues, and 34th Street in Kalamazoo County. Again, watching out closely for Galesburg, and that would be Augusta after that. Richland, it's going to be close enough that you should be in your safe place as well. So right now, we have this lone tornado warning going on with that very obvious signature right there that you can see. Otherwise, everything else is looking pretty good still. Three Rivers, I'm not concerned too much about that rotation. I think that's just from the line of storms coming through with wind kind of going into and out of the storm. You know, we are on the southern flank here, seeing that, but again, the way it's structured and kind of going along the whole line, it might just be a shift in winds as the line comes on through. But either way, I think that'll be just off to the north and west of the actual city of Three Rivers, but still is going to go over 131. Okay, saw this, got a little update. Still nothing new with the verbiage there, but we might still be seeing that hook echo here. And again, if it's doing what we call like pulsating, it might get a little intense and then weaken and then re-intensify and then re-weaken and then re-intensify. So that's kind of, I think, what we're seeing happen here. And each time it does re-intensify, likely dropping a little tiny tornado that lifts back up, and then it goes up and down like that along this path. And again, I do think that we did see a couple weak debris signatures. So I'm sure, you know, once people get out and check out some things, might have some video of some trees coming down or something like that. Hopefully nothing crazy. But I do think we had a couple weak debris signatures there. And debris doesn't mean houses and chunks of houses. It can mean leaves and sticks and branches and stuff like that. It doesn't have to mean chunks of buildings and people's homes. And I don't think that is a debris signature either. I think what we're seeing is just some static with kind of some emptiness there. And then, of course, we have this kind of line of interference coming down from the radar also. See how it's like pointed straight at the radar? A little bit of interference there. So I don't think we have a whole lot to worry about right now in terms of a debris signature. I'm going to put it into motion again. Nothing that looks very obvious, at least to me. Yeah, nothing that looks super obvious, at least in terms of a debris signature, which is a good thing. We don't want to see an obvious debris signature. And, you know, the way this is kind of looking now, it might just be the rotating cloud base, but that means it could drop another tornado at any moment. So it is still something to take very seriously for Galesburg and Augusta as this continues to move off to the north and the east. And you know, it is hooking a little bit north and east as well. So I would say the extreme northwest side of Battle Creek. If you're like a couple miles out of Battle Creek to the northwest, we should watch this for you as well. Let's put a little bit of a longer loop on it here because I think we're going to see this actually curve a little bit. So I apologize, it's way too long of a loop, but here we go. Right there. A little linear, but I think it's going to get a little closer to Battle Creek than we realize right now because I do think it is pulling to the east a little bit, which these tend to do. So Galesburg, Augusta, and then we'll just say northwest side of Battle Creek. So if you know someone that's on the northwest side of Battle Creek, really anywhere near the Battle Creek Airport as well, this could be getting awfully close to you there. Climax as well. I think the warning will have to be issued slightly further east the next time it is issued. And I do think we're going to get another warning here momentarily. Three Rivers, not a whole lot going on with that one still, thankfully. A little bit of broad rotation possible there. I'm going to flip it over just to see if I see anything identifiable. Not looking super identifiable there. Let's flip over to the other radar that you're closer to. See, I don't like seeing that hole either. That hole could be an actual tornado. Oh man. That hole that's showing up in the radar there. I hope that doesn't mean it's intensifying. All right. Okay, there's the tornado warning now. Yep, remember it is going a little further off to the east, and it might be showing a debris signature there now east of Galesburg. So Battle Creek, it is time to be in our safe place. Springfield, this is the exact area that I was just calling out. See how they did that? Curving over to the east. Our National Weather Service is awesome. They're on top of it. These guys are so good at what they do. And again, this is the debris signature that I think we're seeing now. So let's go. They're still going with radar indicated. Let's see. So this is going to be for northern Calhoun County, east central Kalamazoo County until 8 p.m. Radar indicated. Battle Creek around 7:40. So please, safe places now. Calhoun County. Galesburg, you are in the clear. Look at that. That is not something that we like to see there. Very intense signature. And this is from the other radar that's pretty high up in the sky. Let's go back over to Grand Rapids. Look at that. That is not what you want to see. That is a very strong rotation signature now. I cannot stress this enough. Battle Creek, be in your safe place. If you know someone, call them, text them. This is something to take absolutely seriously. I hope it weakens before it gets to Battle Creek, but this looks like it is going straight over towards the airport. So all of Battle Creek, everyone in Battle Creek, safe places immediately, please. This is in effect for, we'll just say, about the next half an hour or so. Let's do a little different velocity to clean up some noise here. And again, this is a very defined tornado signature showing up on the velocity. That is, looks like they're going to expire the other one because this new one includes that area again. So that's good. But again, that's moving off to the northeast now. MN Avenue, which turns into Mercury Drive, that goes across I-94, turns into West Columbia Avenue towards the airport. Fort Custer Training Center. Tornado warning going right for Fort Custer Training Center and the Battle Creek Airport. If you know anyone at Fort Custer, Battle Creek Airport, Dickman Road, Springfield, or anywhere in Battle Creek, please tell them to seek shelter immediately. This is a storm that is meaning business. Three Rivers, anything that was a little threatening is now off to the northeast of you. I'm going to take a quick check around just to make sure there's nothing else super crazy going on. We still got freezing rain to the north, but this is a very intense situation now headed toward Battle Creek. And I do think we're seeing a decent amount of rotation coming through now. And hooking down, so Climax, it is awfully close to you there. Galesburg, and again, Fort Custer Training Center, within minutes. Within minutes, the Fort Custer Training Center. And this is also along I-94, by the way. So along I-94. Let's see what else I can see here. There's a lot of traffic cameras down in that area. Let's take a look. I'll look on my phone and pass along the information to you. Could be right over the I-94 area. One of the cameras, I-94 at East Michigan, is looking... It's hard to see out there. So hopefully we're not going to see anything too crazy there. But again, that's I-94 at East Michigan Avenue. The camera is not looking great. That's the Fort Custer Training Center, Fort Custer Recreation Area. Getting awfully close to the Battle Creek Airport now, moving off to the northeast. So Dickman Road, anywhere on the west side of Battle Creek. And then we got M89, which turns into Michigan Avenue. I'm just going to call out Level Park, Oak Park, Urbandale. Those could be neighborhoods. They could be little towns. I'm honestly not sure if you're a local, you know. So if you're Level Park, Oak Park, or Urbandale, it is headed your direction. On top of Dickman Road, Fort Custer Training Center, and Augusta. All need to be in our safe places. So all of Battle Creek, safe places. This thing is known to curve off to the east a little bit. So it's not moving in a straight line. It is kind of curving off, and eventually is probably going to be moving more east than north. Still going with radar indicated. Okay, see, now I don't like seeing circles show up like that around the tornado. That means that we're seeing a sizable amount of rotation. Latest velocity signature there. We're seeing some very bright colors. Again, right over I-94. I don't think I'm seeing anything on the DOT cameras still. Traffic looks like it's moving along just fine there. I do apologize. I'm just looking to see if I can actually see this thing on a camera. All right, so it looks like it is now right over the Fort Custer Training Center, moving off to the northeast. Getting awfully close to the Battle Creek Airport now. Awfully close to the Battle Creek Airport. Let's turn on our debris signature. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, it's going to be way too long again. Let me redo this for you guys. See, I think it's doing what I was saying earlier. I think we're getting brief touchdowns, and then the debris goes away, and then the debris signature shows up when we get another touchdown, and then it goes away. So I think the tornado is dropping multiple times and lifting multiple times, but that is more dangerous because it can form literally out of nowhere very, very quickly. So that's why it's just so important that we're in our safe places now, and we're just chilling. We need to just chill until this passes us, because it's not something that you want to have to run back upstairs and immediately run back downstairs. You may not have time to do that. Again, if you remember the videos coming out of Union City and how fast that formed, do you really think you'd have time to go across the house, gather your things, your loved ones, your pets, and get into the basement before that came for you? I don't think so. So it is really important to take these seriously and to play it safe rather than wait to the last minute to get into your safe place, especially when we're seeing intermittent debris signatures possible. Back over to the velocity, there's that very tight signature again. Moving right towards Springfield and the Battle Creek Airport. So again, everyone in Battle Creek definitely needs to be in their safe place. I am not seeing anything damage-wise along I-94 with the cameras. Let's see if there's a Battle Creek camera. I think there's one at the zoo there. Binder Park Zoo. Not looking at anything. I'm not going to be able to see anything on that. So see how this is very intense now, very bright colors. Battle Creek Airport is right there. They are probably seeing something, if there's anything. That is very close to the airport, going right past it in the distance. seeing any camera images there, but again, all of Battle Creek, Springfield, Level Park, Oak Park, Urbandale, Dickman Road, Columbia Avenue, Michigan Avenue, and M89. Absolutely be in your safe places now, please. This is lifting off. Yeah, it's going to go right through the north side of Battle Creek. Right through the north side of Battle Creek. Again, I can't stress this enough. If you are in Battle Creek, especially the northwest side of Battle Creek, or the west side of Battle Creek, or the north side of Battle Creek, whatever you want to say, those three areas, please, please be in your safe place. Might be having another little rotational signature try to develop down to the south, just southeast of Vicksburg. We'll be watching, or I'll be watching that one closely as well. And again, we still have a lot of awful severe weather back over to the west that's headed our way. So this is going to be a long evening. This threat goes until 2 o'clock in the morning. This is just the first round, the first wave. So we are getting very bright colors now over Battle Creek. I do not like this. I do not like seeing this. Again, please, if you are in Battle Creek, anywhere in Battle Creek, anywhere near Battle Creek, please be in your safe place. Please be in your safe place. In terms of debris, I'm not seeing any. That's great. But again, if we're rapidly dropping and lifting tornadoes here and there, it could happen within a scan or two, which is every 5 minutes or so. We get an updated scan, again, every 5 minutes or so. There's the velocity signature that I'm seeing. That is a very defined velocity signature. Very defined velocity signature there. I don't think we're going to... Yeah, that's the closest radar site we got. It was Grand Rapids. So again, this is moving over the Battle Creek area. This is an active tornado warning for Battle Creek. It is very important that we stay in our safe place. Springfield coming right for you. This is also M89 and Dickman Road. Right over Hearts Lake Conservation Area. Oh, there's the update. So the updated one is now over those areas I was mentioning earlier. Springfield, Dickman Road, Michigan Avenue, M89, Urbandale, and Oak Park. Urbandale and Oak Park. Still seeing a decent tornado signature there. Some very bright colors are still showing up, and they're getting a little tighter. So again, that's why I do think there is something going on there. We got to be extra careful. Also, still watching this area east of Vicksburg, which is moving off to the east-northeast as well. That would be just north of Gardens Corners. We'll watch that carefully for maybe another area of rotation developing that would be in the south side of Battle Creek. So again, I'm still watching this go through the northwest side of Battle Creek, getting right by Urbandale, State Highway 37, M89, Michigan Avenue, Jackson Street West, Morgan Road, any of those areas. Please, please be in your safe place. That is a bright signature there. Let's put the loop on it again so you can kind of see how this was progressing. Yep. So that would take it pretty much straight up through there. Ooh, I hope that means it's going to avoid the densest populated areas, but I am a little concerned about Urbandale right now. It's probably right over you at the moment. The next update I get, it's likely to be past Urbandale. So whatever's going on there is going on right now. And that's headed toward Bedford. Again, State Highway 37, Morgan Road, eventually Morgan Corners, Halbert Road, Bedford, North Avenue. And there's the updated one right over Urbandale, right over it. Right over Urbandale. And these are racing. It's moving at about 55 miles per hour. There, a new tornado warning was just issued. Aha, yep, it's for that other one I was telling you about. So that is a radar indicated tornado warning. So Battle Creek, you are essentially under two active tornado warnings right now. Two active tornado warnings. One is moving through the northwest side of the city right now. The other is back over by Pavilion and Vicksburg, moving off to the northeast. So Climax, that'll be coming your way as well. This one will likely pass right close to anywhere along I-94 on the south side of Battle Creek, especially as you get a little more toward, what is this? The Sojourner Truth Downtown Parkway, business access road, I'm sure, of 94. So all of Battle Creek, we're watching out for this. Now this one, are we losing a little steam here finally? That would be great. See how that's not as defined as it was? I like seeing that. Okay. But now, again, watching this other area to the south as well. So we have two active tornado warnings at the same time for pretty much the same areas. So two active tornado warnings now for Battle Creek. Two active tornado warnings for Climax, Springfield, getting awfully close to Marshall. All right, I want to switch over and just take a peek at a few things again because my curiosity is getting me. I think this one off to the north is starting to lose a little bit of steam. The one to the south, maybe seeing a little bit of an inflow notch there now as well. All right, let's see what our damage indicator here is showing us. I don't think we're seeing a whole lot, if any. That's good. That's very good. I think, I hope that means that the storm was weakening and falling apart as it moved toward the Battle Creek area. I do not see debris signatures right now. That is good. Still watching these areas of rotation, though. Again, they're very pronounced, very defined. You can see exactly where they are. Definitely a weaker signal off to the north of Battle Creek now, but this one down to the south is getting more organized. And remember, even a couple miles south means that we're feeding off of untapped atmosphere. So this storm fed off the atmosphere to the north. This one is tapping into the south, especially with a southerly wind. The atmosphere is a little more ripe on the south side for these to develop now. The storms are feeding off of that untapped moisture and that inflow coming up from the north. From the south, excuse me. So one right here, weakening. One down here, strengthening. Two tornado warnings active over Battle Creek. There's how they're lifting through. All right, so while I just got to take a 30-second break, I will be right back, everyone. Don't worry, I'm just going to leave it on a loop here for you quick. All right, everyone, still watching these two tornado warnings. Look at this one to the south, getting way more defined now. That is lifting off to the northeast. Also, that is going right toward Battle Creek, right at Battle Creek. Yeah, that's not something I want to see. So we'll watch out for this one now very carefully. Again, the one north of Battle Creek really looks like it's fizzling out to me now. I think we're moving into a more unfavorable atmosphere as it gets a little ahead of itself. I can check on a couple temperature profiles really quick just to make sure. And again, you are more than welcome to send me pictures and video. Just, excuse me, make sure that you do it safely. That would be great. We are still under a tornado watch, by the way, that's going to be in effect until 11 p.m. So remember, we still got a long way to go here. There is a tornado watch for southwestern Michigan until 11 p.m. as well, with these two active tornado warnings, one in effect till 8 o'clock, the other one until probably about 8:30. Yep, so the warm front is moving through. That's why we're getting this, and they're just getting a little ahead of the warm front when we get off to the north and the east. Just a little bit. So again, still watching this one mainly on the south, but also we have the one up here to the north a little bit. That's weakening, but the one to the south looks like it's kind of pulsating a little bit as well. And what the other one was doing that I noticed over the last, almost 2 hours now, was it strengthens, it weakens, it strengthens, it weakens. So we do get those cycles from time to time, and that's why it can rapidly drop a tornado, and then it lifts, and then it drops, and then it lifts, and then it drops and lifts. And that's what a lot of them do, is they go through different cycles. So now, kind of, it's two tornado warnings merging into one, really. Now, if you're over near Bellevue, and I think that's where Nashville is, somewhere over here, right? Oh, it's up there. Okay. Bellevue, I would still watch out. And really all of southwestern Eaton County, just watch out. I'll be watching for you, but just be prepared to go into the safe place if you need to be. So again, still watching this area of rotation get toward Battle Creek. I'm hoping it also is moving into a less favorable environment, but it is several miles south of the other one, which could make all the difference. Okay. A little bit of a flash there. So let's just take a look at a couple other things again. That's not what I meant to do. I apologize. Not seeing as defined of a hook here, but so there's an update. But I do think there was a little one. See how the green kind of goes back up into the storm there a little bit, usually indicating air going into it that way. And then the hook echo, because it rotates around that, so you kind of get this like rotating in, rotating around thing. Yeah, so I like to switch it over. This one just kind of filters out a lot of the garbage and shows us where the most rotation is. I'm not getting super alarmed, but this is definitely something to take seriously, again, because it cycles. So right now we might be up cycling a little bit again, strengthening a little bit. And that's what I'm concerned about as we start to get past climax over I-94. Some temperatures down there, believe it or not, in St. Joseph County and Cass County are surging into the 70s now. It's been such a cold day elsewhere, it's hard to believe that, but it's a warm front. That's why we're getting this coming on through. And I know we still have the ice storm going on up north too, but this is obviously one of the more dire situations here. All right, so yeah, still watching that area, moving toward Battle Creek. So again, all of Battle Creek still needs to be in their safe place. We did have one move to the northwest of the city. This is another that is headed straight for downtown Battle Creek. We're gonna, unfortunately, these minutes in between the radar cycles seem like they take forever sometimes when you're just kind of waiting. So again, this is moving off to the northeast, and safe places. I just want to touch on that really quick. It's just a place to go when there's a tornado warning. It doesn't have to be scary. If you have children, especially if you have a basement, you could, have like games down there, something to color on, something to occupy. It doesn't just have to be somewhere to sit, and we'll be here to guide you through it. So definitely, hopefully, eases the fear level a little bit. But safe places can be, as simple as just going into your basement and watching an episode of something with your kids. If you don't want them to exactly know what's going on, feel free to put on headphones while you're watching me on your phone or something. But, a safe place can be creative too. You can have games and stuff to do down there if you would like to make it easier for your children, coloring books, things like that. If you don't have one, you can go to an interior room, fun games to play with your kids, or a phone or a tablet, or if you have an interior bathroom with no windows, time for a bath kind of thing. Obviously power loss isn't great, but I'm just thinking of things. It can be creative. Either way, we're still watching this move off to the northeast for you. Going real close to most likely real close to downtown Battle Creek. Seeing some pretty bright colors there. Correlation coefficient, we're going to just put this on a little loop. Might be seeing another weak debris signature there. It's always hard to tell on the edge of the cloud sometimes, but it certainly would line up awkwardly well with the tornado signature on the velocity. Might be a weak debris signature. As long as that thing isn't bright blue, that would indicate large objects. This might just indicate twigs and dirt and stuff like that flying around. So to me, that would mean that we went through another brief cycle of a brief touchdown somewhere. And again, it doesn't mean chunks of houses. It could mean leaves and sticks and corn stalks and bags and stuff like that. All right, back over to the velocity again. Still watching this get awfully close to Battle Creek. Let's try this one. See how the different modes, we still see what's going on, but I don't like seeing all that. I like the tornado part to be bright, not the dimmest color. So I'm going to switch it back over. Yeah, I like that one. So again, still seeing the possibility of a little rotation there. Let's put a loop on it because that's always nice so we can see the patterns and we can see what the path was doing and things like that. So this does go back to the one going through the north side of Battle Creek. And now we have the one that's, not even 10 miles south of the other one, going through what would most likely be right through the middle of Battle Creek. So still watching that carefully as well. One off to the north, I don't think we're seeing it do a whole lot. It might be tightening back up a little bit, but the temperatures in Lansing are still in the 50s. All right, so again, not the brightest. See how they're pulsing, right? We just saw it go spike, and now it's dropping down again already. So we might have had a really brief touchdown, somewhere around the climax area. Maybe specifically around West Leroy. Everything's just named after letters down here. So like A Drive, C Drive, EOP Drive. and that's moving off to the northeast. So areas would be Old Mill Gardens we're watching out for, Lakeview, Sunrise Heights, anywhere from Capitol Avenue southwest. Some other roads here. Columbia Avenue. This is going to go really close to Family Fair and Aldi, and what looks like Lakeview by Riverside Country Club. A couple of free advertisements for some local businesses. We got Willard Beach. I am so sorry. Gogwalk Lake. Gogwalk Lake is under that threat as well. Moving off to the northeast. So again, really close to downtown Battle Creek. Let's hope that we don't see it upcycle or strengthen again until it's past the city. That would be best. Past like 11 Mile and Bellevue Road. So again, I'm just going to kind of stay on this like a fly on you know what, because I don't want this thing to drop something that I don't know it did right over Battle Creek. So Battle Creek, I'm with you until this passes the city. And then we'll take a look at what's going on elsewhere. There's way too many people in the path of this thing. So Old Mill Gardens, see that? See all these little tiny lines? Those are all streets and neighborhoods with homes. All of these are streets with neighborhoods and homes in them. And that is going right into downtown Battle Creek, especially anywhere just east. So Brownlee Park, Greenfield Park, Michigan Avenue by East Columbia Avenue, and all of downtown Battle Creek. Gogwalk Lake, moving through there right now, going towards Sunrise Heights, Golden Avenue, and Riverside Drive, headed right for you as well. And again, this could just be the clouds rotating, but it has had a history of potentially causing some damage with some possible debris signatures that I've seen at time to time. So the next scan, I think, will be a big determination factor in if we're going to see this thing continue to fall apart, which that would be great. Knock on my wood desk. I do not want to see it get stronger with the next scan. Brief zoom out. I don't see a whole lot of other concerning stuff right now. So again, this is tracking pretty much right this way. Whoops. Right this way. Okay, so there it goes. Right on the south side of downtown right now. Remember, every time we get a scan, it is likely a couple minutes behind. So by the time we get the next scan, it could jump over toward Brownlee Park, which means it's going like this right now through here. Right like that. Could drop a tornado any minute. Still radar indicated. The warning expires in 6 minutes. I think we're probably on the fence with whether or not they are going to let that happen or not. Still seeing a little bit of an inflow notch there. And what that is you can kind of see the air going into the storm here by that green going up into the storm. And just kind of like a very small hook echo possible, basically, right down there. Correlation coefficient, which is the way we can monitor if there's debris possible. It's not looking. Not anything obvious, which is great. We don't want anything glaringly obvious. If I have to struggle to find it, that's great. We don't need that. So again, here's the area in question. Right by downtown Battle Creek right now. And don't worry, I'm staying on this Battle Creek. We're going to stay through this together. So just going to keep looking at a couple different things here just to pass along every bit of information that I can. Right south of downtown. Again, the next time we get a scan, it'll probably be almost to East Michigan Avenue. There it is. See? Just on the southeast side of downtown. So, I mean, that's close. We're talking between East Columbia Avenue and downtown is where the brightest signature is showing right now. So that would continue going right toward Brownlee Park. The next time we get an update, it'll probably be right over East Michigan Avenue, and then Brownlee Park, and then off into what I am assuming is a less populated area because there's less little roads everywhere. I don't like the fact that that color just got brighter over this area, so I can't stress this enough. Everyone needs to be in their safe place. This is an active tornado warning for Battle Creek, right by downtown Battle Creek. Right by downtown Battle Creek. Safe places still. Definitely need to be in our safe places still. Notice there's a severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up, so they might be letting this expire after Battle Creek, especially because of the lack of population right here, to see what it's going to do. I mean, we got a few houses out here, but compared to Battle Creek, there's a lot of fields I can see on the satellite. So those folks will be in their safe place, but I mean, we might be in assess mode. This is good. This last scan right here, actually the one that just came in, is showing the possibility that it might be weakening still. That's good. Let's take another look at the damage, just the correlation coefficient, just to be sure. Yeah, now again, we can't look at each pixel and say like, oh my gosh, that's a debris signature. I'm not seeing the pattern that I need to see with an ongoing debris signature. If there is one, it's super, super weak, so we're talking dirt and leaves and stuff like that. If you saw something that was about this big that was just solid blue like this, that's what I'm looking for to be like an obvious debris ball. I'm not seeing that. I'm just seeing a couple areas of yellow show up. And if you're just paying attention recently, what correlation coefficient is it tells me, hey, there's things that are different sizes floating around here. So I'm going to make that a color. And that's how we know that it's not just rain. You know, if it's just rain, it's all the same size or within, you know, a certain allowable limit where it's not like a raindrop compared to a 2x4 kind of thing. So that's what this mode is telling me is, hey, there's different size things floating around, because radar is very basic. It tells you basic stuff. It's like, hey, the wind goes this way, it goes this way, things are falling down this hard, you know, stuff like that. So again, if we are seeing anything right here, it's dirt and leaves and stuff. It's not super obvious, but this is still an active tornado warning, and it could still have the possibility of dropping a tornado any minute. It looks like it is going to be allowed to expire, though, as they monitor it as it goes up into Eaton counties, because now we have a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible written in that. And I do think this is a good call based on what's happening here. And again, that might be a little bit of a re-strengthen there. And if it does, they'll extend the warning. So this is right over Greenfield Park now, moving into Gorseline Road and 11 Mile Road. Also up toward Bellevue Road. Again, this warning expires in 1 minute. Correlation coefficient, again, still not seeing, you know, a discernible debris signature that's wowing me or anything. We are far away from the radar site, though. We are far away from the radar site. Now, this doesn't mean that high winds aren't going through and knocking some stuff down, too, because we still have that severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds possible, too. So that could also be causing some of that little static there. But that possibility is certainly there earlier, and it was a good call to keep this thing warned all the way through Battle Creek. Back over to velocity. So there's that signature again, and I can filter out some of these brighter colors. It does look like it is tightening back up, but we are really far away from a radar site here. This isn't looking at the bottom of the storm. This is looking like really high up in the storm, which we also have to take into consideration, because we're a whole county, you know, we're like 40 miles as the crow flies away from the radar site. So this is something to watch very closely, especially as it gets into Eaton County. And this is one of the counties I covered when I worked for a local station out of Lansing. Okay, so that's the lone severe thunderstorm warning that we have going on right now. Now that that tornado warning has expired, let's back it up here a little bit and see what's going on. So we still have a lot of activity back over to the west. Those are all storm chaser symbols. Let's just put them into silent mode for a minute. So we got a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings back over to the west with this complex that'll swing on through. The other thing is there enough recovery time between these two lines for the atmosphere to get rejuiced and reprimed? And since these storms kind of came out of that direction, formed a little closer to Michigan, and we still have these ones feeding off fresh moisture, I would say that these are worth watching, absolutely, especially this far north. We're closer to the low pressure. We have better dynamics, things like that. But this was definitely a little bit of a rowdy line out ahead of it for sure. So in terms of our radar here, we are still looking at that moving into areas of Charlotte. And again, just to show you, they're being labeled as, excuse me, tornado possible with 60-mile-per-hour wind. Now, that doesn't mean the tornado is 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-per-hour winds and the possibility for a tornado on top of that. I'm going to switch over to a mode that we haven't used yet, winter weather radar, because off to the north, we've had a lot of freezing rain. We now have ice storm warnings across the Upper Peninsula. We have heavy snow going on across parts of the western UP. The ice storm warning, there's a lot of bad stuff going on back that direction also. Yeah, look at all the freezing rain into the UP. Some areas there are still in the 20s. Oh, another ice storm for parts of Michigan. And this is all heavy rain now. I think all these areas have warmed up over freezing. And down to the south here, we have some good storms still, absolutely. But right now, the tornado warnings themselves have expired. So what I'm going to do, since I'm one person and I don't have backup, I don't have people helping me, my throat's getting a little dry, I am going to take a brief break. But if another tornado warning does develop, I will be on here in seconds. I'm just going to sit here and just give myself a little bit of a rest. And I will be back with you guys shortly, okay? So everyone, be safe, be vigilant. We have a long ways to go, and I'm going to be here doing everything I can for you.